Welcome back to my channel, monkeys. The floating head you see right now is a 3D character I spent months creating in my free time. I had no experience in Unity nor 3D softwares like Blender, and I want to share everything I learned with you, and hopefully it will help you know if it's still worth your time to create your own 3D character using Blender or Unity. So let's get right to it. It was around this time 2 years ago that I really wanted to create my own content, not just videos, but also VR games, websites, and fun stuff that geeks like me enjoy creating. So my monkey brain thought it would be a good idea to create an avatar for my YouTube videos. Since I didn't want people to know who I was in case I became famous, but I honestly didn't think it would take me so long just to learn this stuff like Blender and Unity and all that, the whole process to create your own 3D character. I didn't think it would take me so long. I did so many things wrong that it was taking me longer than I expected, way longer than I expected. And honestly, I start to question myself if it was worth it, because I'm just going to use this avatar for the YouTube videos. So, but I was inspired to take this approach after seeing other channels like Horror Skunks that has some really cool music videos and has really interesting characters, and Pixel Fire. I think he's a game developer and he uses Lego characters for his avatar. And like Batman, that's one of my favorite ones. And but I think they use Rococo's body motion technology for that, to control the characters, which I thought was a good idea to use in my motion capture to animate my character instead of doing it manually. So that's what I did, and however, I wasn't sure if it was worth the investment to buy that, to be honest. But fortunately, I found a free alternative, which was Unity's face motion capture, which is free, and that's what I'm using right now. As you could see, it's not very accurate. But you could improve it. You could really improve it if you take the time to do so. As you could see from this avatar, I'm actually talking right now. Sometimes the avatar doesn't move my mouth when I open it. But anyways, oh yeah, that the face capture does have its limitations. It does not record audio, and after realizing that I was able to use face capture for free, I decided to commit to this idea and create my own 3D avatar, since I wouldn't need to animate the character manually every time. So that's what I'm doing right now. Anyways, so the next step was to create an avatar, which at the time I wasn't sure what to create, but I already knew I wanted my avatar to be a monkey, but I had no idea of the process to create a 3D monkey character. I knew I needed to use a 3D program, but which one? So I looked into it, and Blender was free and had many tutorials. There was a big community, so I went with that one. After a few hours, I came to realize that sculpting was another challenge for me. Sculpting is not easy, you guys. I was just going to create one character, so learning how to sculpt was going to take practice, and I didn't think it was worth the time. So in that case, I started looking for models that I like, and then I would just tweak those models. I thought that would be a good idea, and I found a model that I really liked in Turbo Squid, and this is where I spent most of my time messing up over and over, because I didn't take the time to understand the proper process to create a 3D character. I might have bought the model, but the face needed to change, and I had to add a rig, weight painting, shape keys, and export everything into Unity, and that whole process kept breaking because I didn't know the whole process. This is the first time I did it, so. And sometimes everything would look good in Blender, but when you exported it to Unity, something would break, and like the head rotation, the scale, or the shape keys wouldn't work, the normal map looked weird, so I just I just tried to be really quick about it because it was just a one-time thing. And honestly, just thinking about it makes me feel frustrated and exhausted. It took me 6 months to create something that worked, but unfortunately, I didn't like it still. I still didn't like it, and I redid everything like 4 times. And like, this is something that I'm still trying to modify. And like you could already tell that when I'm talking, the mouth doesn't open sometimes. And this model has teeth, but when I did the shape keys, I had to join the teeth with the model unless the shape keys weren't going to work. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that again. In order to make it look realistic, I had to do like 60 shape keys, and that takes a lot of time. And I'm not gonna do that. I already did it like 4 times. So I was taking a long time to create my avatar, and I wanted to start doing videos. So I decided to share what I learned, and I made tutorials on everything that I learned. I noticed there was a lack of tutorials on Unity face capture software, but apparently no one cared. There was no demand for these videos, so either the video sucked or or people just didn't care about learning how to do that. So also around that time, Unity released the hair simulation. You can see it right now. And however, I just put a really fast one. I still had to do the skin attachment system, so you can see the hair going through the ears, and you could avoid that. Yeah. So around that time, Unity released a hair simulation software that it was really cool. So I had to add it to my avatar after spending months learning how to use Blender and Unity. Adding hair was easy, so transferring the hairstyle from Blender to Unity was simpler than learning how to use the face capture. So the tutorials I made for that had a few more demand about the hair compared to the face capture. The fact that you could add hair made me love my avatar even more because honestly, it's fun just to watch the hair just move like that. Now, to answer the real question, was it worth it? So I did spend a long time just to create the model. That's probably what I spend the most time doing. Learning the process of how to do that. It's like, apparently there's so many things you have to learn to use Unity and the proper form to create something in 3D using Blender. There's a whole process to it. So I think it was worth creating my avatar, but I don't think I would do it the same way I did it before. I think I would learn the process first and then apply it. And hopefully that would save me a lot more time. But I feel that even if I did learn the process, it would take me the same amount of time because the avatar that I would have created I wouldn't have liked it either. So I would have had to do it like 4 times again. Because doing shape keys as well takes skill. It's not only knowing how to do it, but it's actually a skill that you have to learn. You have to do it over and over and over again to see something that you like, and then knowing how to apply the weight painting, understanding how your model is going to move when you apply the shape keys and why it moves like that. So there's some parts of this process that you can't just learn how to do. It takes experience and time and practice to do it right. And I would say the shape keys is one of them. Let alone sculpting, but I didn't do sculpting. And once you learn the process how to do the 3D modeling and creating your own character in Blender and then exporting it to Unity, that's you just have to learn it once and then do it repeatedly, and the more times you do it, you'll start learning that there's better ways to do it. But Um, that's a one-time thing. You could just learn it once and then you could improve it. But with shape keys and sculpting and all that other stuff, that takes time and practice. However, if you just want to create a YouTube channel, I highly recommend using AI. AI has improved character consistency, 3D spaces, 3D character message, and lip syncing, which wasn't good enough 2 years ago when I started. Ironically, I predicted this technology was going to exist, but I wasn't sure how long it would take. So now that it exists, I'll probably start using a combination of both Unity face capture and AI. Just to mention a few more resources, Reallusion has software capable of creating your own unique characters with good topology for shape keys and Unity face capture. And also, Mesh AI has improved their model to create accurate, but not always 3D meshes. They improved their AI to create accurate models, but not always accurate. Sometimes they do mess up, but they really improved it from before. So I would say it's usable. If you're curious to know how I'm going to use AI and Unity to create more content, then don't forget to subscribe. And I'll leave a playlist here in case you want to create your own character using Unity face capture. Have fun, monkeys, and have a great day. See you around.